What's going on, everybody? This is Derek J407 back on a video for a very special occasion. It is time for WrestleMania predictions. By the time a lot of you see this, I will probably either be on the plane or I will be in New Orleans because this year I will be at WrestleMania 34. I was at WrestleMania in New Orleans 4 years ago for WrestleMania 30. Great show with the Daniel Bryan stuff, and of course the significance of the Undertaker streak coming to an end, and how fitting that both the Undertaker and Daniel Bryan will be main focuses at WrestleMania this year. But nevertheless, I am very excited about going to WrestleMania, but even more so than that, even TakeOver and a lot of other stuff that I'll be doing. I'm just excited to be going to New Orleans again because being in New Orleans that first time was great. I had never been to New Orleans before. It was a fun experience. The food was amazing. A lot of the sights. Bourbon Street, of course. Can't take the kids there. At least not my kids. I don't have any kids. But there's a lot you can and can't do when you have a family there and all that kind of stuff. I'm now seeing there's some lens flares in my eyes on this video, so I'm trying to avoid that. I got my laptop here with the WrestleMania card. But yeah, I'm very much so looking forward to WrestleMania this year. So yeah, we're gonna go through predictions, and then if I have time, I'll squeeze in some takeover predictions at the end. But yeah, so this is what I think is gonna happen at the show, and I've also structured it to what match order I think it'll be like. That includes the pre-show, how the matches will be structured on the pre-show, and of course the main show. So I'll try to go through it like that. I've seen a lot of people do that with their predictions over the past few days. So yeah, let's run through this WrestleMania card, which on paper looks like a damn good show. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. But let's just go through the card. So they announced the kickoff matches. There'll be two battle royals and a cruiserweight championship match. The finals of the cruiserweight tournament, by the way. I'll get to that because I don't think that will be the first match. I think of all the matches on the pre-show, I think the first one to happen, probably at like 5:30 or whatever, will be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And so far in the match announced, we have Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, Baron Corbin, Ty Dillinger, last year's winner Mojo Rawley, Woken Matt Hardy, I'm sorry, Dolph Ziggler, because Tyler Breeze, Fandango, and then the rest to be announced. I'm sure there'll probably be some surprises in there. I said a long time ago that Samoa Joe, if he's ready to come back, probably put him in there. But I'm also holding out hope that he might be Braun Strowman's tag team partner when we get to that. But if rumors are to be true, and the rumors over the past few weeks have been that coming out of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is first challenger for the Universal title. That's if he wins, but we'll get to that later. But the first challenger for Roman Reigns will be Samoa Joe. So if that's the case, I think a good way to make that make sense, other than the fact that it's Samoa Joe, is to have Joe win the Andre Battle Royal. So he has a big win coming back, and he has a reason to challenge Roman Reigns. So I think having Samoa Joe win the Andre Battle Royal would probably be the best option. If he's healthy and ready to go, stick him in the Battle Royal. Otherwise, maybe Big Cass, if he's ready to come back. I think he was clear to compete. These guys could be better used as Braun Strowman's tag team partner, I think. But we'll see. Elias, I don't think he's been announced to do anything. Although, Elias, I think they might do something else with Elias. I'll get to that a little bit later. But officially, right now, I think that Samoa Joe will make his return, and he'll be in the Battle Royal, and he'll win it. Also on the pre-show, the kickoff show, is the Cruiserweight Championship match. I know a lot of people are upset about this. There's been petitions and all that kind of stuff to get this match moved to the main show. It might happen. It happened last year with the SmackDown women. That match was on the kickoff, and they, a lot of influence got it moved to the main show. So we'll see if that happens again. Who knows? But either way, I still expect this to be a great match. And I expect Cedric Alexander to get the win. So I'm going with Cedric Alexander to beat Mustafa Ali, to win Cruiserweight Championship, and I expect it to be a hell of a match. Probably one of the best matches of the entire night, which is saying something considering the matches on the show. And then the women's battle royal. I know a lot of people are upset that Sasha Banks and Bayley are in it. You know, their feud has been really growing over the past few weeks, and people think they should have a match. There's already 14 matches on this show. Do we really need that many more? So, yeah, it may suck, but, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. It's like, that's just how the cards fall sometimes. Like, everybody can have singles matches on the show. Like, people would be happy if there were just like 20, 25 matches on these shows and just make them longer, like 10 hours. It's like, whatever. But in this match, we got Mickie James, Bayley, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Lana, Natalya, Sasha Banks, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. Those are the announced people. There might be someone from NXT. Like, I could see Kairi Sane being in there. She's in the Rumble. I could see Ember Moon maybe. Some past women. I could see maybe the Bellas even being in this match. Ultimately, I think it'll come down to Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. And Sasha and Bayley will continue their feud, and they will either eliminate each other or they'll both be like over the rope on the apron fighting, trying to eliminate one another. And then Becky Lynch will come in and eliminate both of them, and Becky Lynch will get the win. I've had that in my mind the past few weeks, and I think that's going to happen. So, yeah, Becky Lynch for the winner of the Women's Battle Royal and not the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. I know I didn't talk about that when that happened, but gosh, that was so stupid. And people who didn't know anything about the Fabulous Moolah or who knew of her name but didn't know her past, I'm glad that at least wised you up. I know none of it was ever truly proven, but I mean, enough people, when there's enough smoke, there's got to be fire somewhere. So let's go on to the main show, and this is how I think, for all I know, it might not even go this way, but this is what I think will be the match structure of the show. So I think I'll start out with the triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown tag team titles. The Usos defending against the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers. I think the Bludgeon Brothers, they've looked strong ever since Fastlane, and they killed the New Day and the Usos, so I don't see any reason for them to lose. I mean, I know they could probably lose the match without getting pinned, and then you could do Bludgeon Brothers and Usos at the next month's pay-per-view, and then they could win it there. But I think a lot of championships are going to change hands on this show, and I think this will probably be the first one, so I'm going with the Bludgeon Brothers to win the tag team titles. Up next, I think, will be the Raw Women's title match. Nia Jax challenging Alexa Bliss for the championship. This could be the match to go on before the main event, but I slotted a different match in that spot to try to space out a lot of the women's matches on this show, the best I could at least. So I think this match might go on second. It could be the buffer between whatever match in the main event, but I mean, I'm putting it right here. Either way, I don't think it would go that long. I think it'll probably go like 5 or so minutes. And I actually have 2 predictions. My official prediction is that Nia Jax wins the women's championship, but I have an idea. They've been teasing over the past few weeks that Carmella is going to probably interfere and cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase during this Charlotte Asuka match, but I think that might be a swerve, and I think that Carmella might rear her head during or after this match. Maybe Nia Jax doesn't win. Maybe it's during the middle of the match, or maybe Alexa somehow wins and then Nia kills her afterwards, and Carmella cashes in Money in the Bank on Alexa Bliss and wins the Raw Women's Championship. Now, as far as I know, they haven't officially said anything on TV that Carmella has to cash in on the SmackDown Women's Champion. But even if they did, so what? Like, this is WWE. They changed the rules. I mentioned this on Twitter not too long ago, and somebody replied to me saying like, "Oh, well, it's the rules. WWE, it's the rules that she has to cash in on the SmackDown champions." Like, really? It's the rules? You mean the rules made by WWE that they constantly break every 5 minutes? You mean to tell me that WWE wouldn't want to do something like this to shock and swerve everyone? Really? So I'm going with the outside the box prediction and saying that Alexa Bliss will somehow retain the championship, or it'll be a count out or DQ or something like that. Nia kills her afterwards, and then out comes Carmella to cash in Money in the Bank to win the championship, and Carmella moves to Raw, especially since Asuka will probably be moving to SmackDown after her match with Charlotte. So I think that'll leave a spot open on the Raw roster, and I think that'll be filled by Carmella. So that's my prediction there. After that, I think we will have the Raw Tag Team title match. Sheamus and Cesaro versus Braun Strowman and a partner of his choosing. Why Braun Strowman needs a tag team partner, I have no idea, considering the fact that over the past few weeks, he's single-handedly beaten down both Sheamus and Cesaro all by himself. He's beaten both of them in singles matches. He had his brother, Brains Strowman, on Raw come out this past week and beat them both up. Like, they got him down a little bit, but he still stood tall. Like, he's the monster. It takes... Well, I guess all it takes is Roman Reigns to take him down. But, I mean, aside from that, like, it's pretty impossible to take him down. The only people who've pinned Braun Strowman, the only people who've beaten Braun Strowman is Roman, Brock, and Kalisto. Talk about one of these things doesn't belong here. But nah, I think Braun Strowman's tag team partner, well, first of all, Braun Strowman will win the titles, and I think his partner will probably be Big Cass. It could be Big Show or something like that, but I'm thinking it'll probably be Big Cass. But I mean, they're saving it up for WrestleMania to have some big reveal. It could be an even bigger star. There are rumors that it might be Rey Mysterio. Could be. I don't think so. Maybe even Batista. I doubt it. And Avengers Infinity War is coming out. He's in the movie, so be doing press for that, so I doubt he'll be there for that. Could be Elias. Maybe. I doubt it. I think it'll probably be Big Cass. So I'm going to say Big Cass will be his partner, and the two of them will win the titles. Then the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz defending against Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. I'm surprised they're not doing Demon Balor. They probably could still do it, but I'm surprised they didn't announce it ahead of time. You would think at WrestleMania that we would have Demon Balor. I'm really shocked that they haven't announced that, but I mean, maybe he will come out with the paint and all that kind of stuff. Besides, it's like, well, I mean, maybe he won't win, but I'm thinking he will win. I'm thinking that Finn Balor gets the championship for a number of reasons. I think, Miz retaining would be fine. I don't see anything wrong with Miz retaining the championship. He just had his baby girl last week, so, ride off that high, I guess. I don't know. Seth Rollins could easily win the title. But I think I'm going to go with Balor because, and it's a plethora of reasons, but I think, Finn Balor wins, and I think, Seth Rollins, he might get a big move. I think he'll get taken out, and I think Finn Balor will hit the coup de grace on The Miz and will win the belt. And I think both Seth Rollins and The Miz will eventually go over to SmackDown. I think Seth Rollins will be positioned as one of the top babyfaces on that show because I think AJ Styles will probably go to Raw. This is all depending on whether they do a shakeup or not, which I think they probably will. So Miz and Rollins go to SmackDown. Rollins pushes one of the bigger baby faces. Might get Rollins versus Nakamura or even Rollins versus Daniel Bryan on SmackDown. Miz will be over there. Maybe eventually in time he can win the WWE Championship and have it going into WrestleMania next year to defend against Daniel Bryan. I've seen a lot of people clamoring for that. Of all the opponents for Daniel Bryan, I think The Miz is probably the one that a lot of people want to see the most because of their feud on SmackDown last year. So I think that would be pretty cool. And I think Balor can win the title, and then on Raw you can bring in AJ Styles. You can turn Balor heel and have Balor and the Balor Club feud with AJ Styles over the summer. So I'm thinking of all of that. But even without all of that, I'm thinking that Finn Balor does get the belt. If it changes hands at all, I'm thinking it goes to Finn Balor. But this could be a potential show stealer, and I'm very much so looking forward to it. Up next, I have the Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match. If Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win, they're back on SmackDown. Otherwise, they remain fired. I know that segment on SmackDown seemed a little cheesy and kind of over the top to make you think, oh, one of these guys, either Shane or Bryan, are going to turn heel. Either one of them turning heel would make absolutely no sense. Why the hell would either one of them want Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to win and stay on SmackDown? That makes no logical sense. So I think they win. Daniel Bryan gets the big in-ring return win. He'll probably make Sami Zayn tap out to the S-Lock, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be fired. They'll be off TV for the next few weeks, and then whenever they do the shakeup, I think they'll get picked up by Raw, whoever the GM is, because I don't think Kurt Angle's going to remain the GM of Raw coming into WrestleMania. He might for a little while, but I think he'll eventually get fired or he'll quit. Either way, I don't expect him to be GM for too much longer. So yeah, Bryan and Shane win, and then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they eventually go to Raw. I would like for one of them to stay on SmackDown and the other to go to Raw to separate them, but I don't know. Maybe they might go to Raw and be a tag team or something like that. I don't know. Then I have the SmackDown Women's Championship match coming up next. Charlotte Flair defending against Asuka. I think this will be a great match, but I think it's pretty obvious Asuka's going to win. If the Carmella idea I say earlier doesn't work out, maybe she might come out during this match and get taken out by one of or both of these women, maybe particularly Asuka. She might take her out. But I think Asuka will probably win the championship here. Charlotte winning wouldn't piss me off, but it would be very questionable that they would end her streak. I don't think Asuka's getting beaten until next year at WrestleMania in a match against Ronda Rousey. I think they're going to spend the year, like they spent the year building up to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I think they're going to spend the next year building up to Ronda Rousey versus Asuka, with Ronda being the one to finally beat Asuka in the very first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. I expect that match to be the main event of WrestleMania next year. The last match of WrestleMania next year, and I think that Ronda will probably win the belt there. So I think until then, Asuka will remain undefeated for the remainder of the year. After that, I think we will get... you know what? I'm thinking we're going to get this match. I know I said I'll try to space the women out, but I don't know. Maybe this is just my weird thinking. It probably won't even be like this, but this is what I'm thinking. It'll be the mixed tag team match. Triple H to Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. Ronda Rousey making Stephanie McMahon tap out, breaking her arm or something like that, I think is the logical ending of this feud, of this storyline. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Triple H, considering the fact that he hasn't won a match at WrestleMania since 31, and he's lost majority of his matches at WrestleMania since 26 onward. I mean, he won at 26. I think, between 26 and now, he's won 2 matches, 26 and he won at 29, beat Brock, and he won at 31. All matches he should have lost. So. But I'm thinking if it does happen that way, then Triple H will probably pin Kurt with a pedigree, and then maybe after the match, Ronda will break Stephanie's arm. I don't know, but I think Ronda winning would probably make sense. I think this would be a pretty babyface heavy show. So yeah, that's my prediction. Ronda Rousey breaks Stephanie McMahon's arm and gets the win for her and Kurt. Up next, the WWE Championship Match. Nakamura challenging AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, I should say. The build-up to this match has been okay. They've relied pretty heavily on the whole dream match thing, but and it is a dream match. It's a match we thought we'd never see. This is a match people wanted to get at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, and now we have it. So I expect the match to be great. And what has Nakamura been saying over the past few weeks? Need to face. It's pretty lame, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think they'll have a great match. I think this is the first time a match that took place at a Wrestle Kingdom show will take place at a WrestleMania, at least for the there hasn't been a single time where a WWE Championship match that happens at WrestleMania are between two guys who face each other at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't think that's ever happened before, so this is probably a very historic match for that reason, but I think Nakamura will finally win the big one. He probably should have won it in one of his matches with Jinder Mahal, but didn't do it, put the belt on AJ, so now I think the big crowning will come for Shinsuke Nakamura on this show, so expect him to win the championship. And then I think we'll get the John Cena Undertaker thing, so this whole build up to this match or whatever it is now, they haven't even announced the match. It's a very weird promotional tactic. John Cena calling out the Undertaker for weeks and Undertaker not coming up. getting the fans to cheer and go crazy and exude all their energy for The Undertaker, only for him to not come out, not do anything to answer John Cena's challenge, nothing. So there were rumors that maybe instead of a match, it'll be just a confrontation, some kind of segment where Undertaker beats him up. The belief is that The Undertaker might come out in the big evil American badass way, riding the motorcycle. Kid Rock's going into the Hall of Fame, so it makes sense to perform for him. But up until now, up until the Go Home show last week where I thought they would finally announce the match, I figured John Cena and Undertaker would probably be the main event. But since they did nothing to announce the match in advance, I'm thinking that Undertaker and John Cena will not be the main event, and it'll happen right here. And I don't see a reason for John Cena to win. If Undertaker just shows up on the show, I see no reason for it to main event, and I see no reason for John Cena to win. I think Undertaker will win. I don't even care to wonder if this will be Undertaker's last match, because last year was supposed to be his last match, but I guess the money's too good. I've said before, The Undertaker's one of my favorites of all time. Him, Austin, and Shawn Michaels. By the way, R.I.P. Shawn Michaels' ponytail that he cut off the other day. So, yeah. Piece of my childhood died when he cut that ponytail off. But, yeah, those were my three favorite guys. So, Undertaker, I love him to death, but I had no interest in seeing him wrestle again this year. I still don't, really. I'm interested in seeing Big Evil or American Badass or whatever. I really dug that character, and over the years I've grown to love it even more. But, train's coming in the background. You hear the train? Train's coming. It's my train to WrestleMania in New Orleans. I'm sorry. But, no, I think Undertaker will probably win the match, or he'll lay out John Cena. I don't know what the hell they're doing here. I have no idea. But, whatever Undertaker wins, it's just very weird. It's very weird. So, yeah, after that, I think the bathroom break or the calm me down before the main event will be the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. title. Randy Orton defending the title against Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev. Rusev apparently was asked for his release a few weeks ago, and, to keep him happy and to keep him here, they put him in the U.S. title match. So that definitely made this match better. If it weren't for Randy Orton, this match would probably be on the pre-show. And maybe because of Rusev, too, since he was about to ask for his release, I don't think putting him in a match on the pre-show would probably make him happy. So maybe those two factors are the reason that this match is on the main show. But I don't know. We'll see. I think Randy Orton probably retains. If it goes to anyone, I would love for Bobby Roode to get it and then turn heel. I'd love for Rusev to get it. And finally turn babyface and feud with the heel Bobby Roode. Either way, I want Bobby Roode to turn heel. Like, Bobby Roode as a babyface is so boring. Randy Orton as a babyface is so boring. I would love for Randy Orton to lose the belt here so he can move over to Raw and then turn heel and feud with Roman for the championship, or feud with, Braun Strowman or Finn Balor or something like that on Raw, Unless Balor turns heel too, in which case it's something else. But I think Randy Orton might retain, but I'm gonna officially predict that Randy Orton will retain the U.S. title. I hope I'm wrong, and it goes to either a heel Bobby Roode or babyface Rusev. Rusev either way, but it's a turn babyface. But I think my official prediction is Randy Orton retains the championship, and that leads us to the main event, the final match of the night: Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. The feud over the past few weeks, they've tried their best to get make this real and to get Roman Reigns cheered, and I think both things, well, not both, but I think the Roman Reigns getting cheered part has worked for the most part. The past few weeks on Raw, Roman he still gets boos, and he still will get booed. Believe me, over 70,000 people in the arena or the stadium, he's going to get booed. But I think for the most part, he'll probably get cheered. Dana White confirmed that Brock Lesnar will return to the Octagon. I don't think he said that he's going to be a UFC fighter again, sign a contract again. I mean, he fought in the UFC a couple of years ago while still in the WWE contract, so I don't think that really confirms anything. But I think Brock Lesnar is probably going to leave, and I think this will probably be his last match. And Roman Reigns will get the belt. No Money in the Bank cash in, unless Carmella cashes in here. But Nah, I think Roman Reigns, he will officially be crowned as the new top babyface, and he will win the Universal Championship here. And then I think the next night on Raw, Brock Lesnar will come out and get laid out by the returning Bobby Lashley. And I think they will build up to a Bobby Lashley Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam. Roman will go through opponents in the meantime, but I think they'll build up Lashley to go through some people, and Roman go through some people. Like I said, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, people like that. And then eventually he will, the two of them will face each other in the main event of SummerSlam. Battle of the Spears or something like that. I don't know if Lashley will be a part-time guy. He might be full-time. I don't know. But there has been single word about Lashley since then. A lot of guys who are either out injured or who have not made the returns yet or anything like that. I mean, it was reported that he signed a contract, so we'll see come WrestleMania. Speaking of injured guys, Dean Ambrose, he got pulled from a lot of the signings, and access and all that kind of stuff. So there's a thought that he might have suffered a setback in his recovery, and he might be out a little bit longer. I think maybe there's a chance that Seth Rollins doesn't win the match because Dean Ambrose comes out and attacks him, lays him out, turns heel. And maybe they both get moved over to SmackDown and they can feud over there. I don't know. I think heel Ambrose feuding with babyface Seth is a fresh match. I mean, of course, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose is a match we've seen before, but with their alignments changed, I think it'll be a little different. So you never know about Ambrose. Jeff Hardy could appear on this show at some point. You never know. But yeah, those are my official WrestleMania predictions. I think overall this should be a good card. I think those finishes, I mean, they might not all happen that way, but I think, finishes, unless the finishes are just completely ridiculous, I think this should be a pretty good WrestleMania. TakeOver will be amazing. Let me run through that card real quick. I expect there's the Undisputed Era, Authors of Pain, Roderick Strong, Pete Dunne match. I think the Undisputed Era wins. I think Shayna Baszler beats Ember Moon to win the Women's Championship. I think in the ladder match for the new NXT North American Championship between Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, EC3, and Ricochet, I think either Velveteen Dream or Ricochet will probably win. I'm going to go with Velveteen Dream to win that. I don't think the other guys really need it. I think he could probably benefit the most from it, so I'm going to go with him. The NXT Championship, I think Aleister Black beats Andrade Cien Almas in a great match. And the real main event that I feel is the real main event of this show, I think Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, I think Gargano wins. I think Johnny Gargano wins. He could lose and then never be seen again in NXT and then just go to the Cruiserweight division, but I think both of them probably end up in the Cruiserweight division at some point. Maybe they can pull a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, where they can both be on NXT and then eventually they move up to the main roster and their feud continues up there. Could you imagine these two feuding over the Cruiserweight Championship? That could be, especially with Triple H running things now, I think that'll make it a little more important. Unfortunately, it might be on the pre-show, as evidenced by this show, but at WrestleMania, that is. But we'll see. But I expect TakeOver to be a great show. I expect WrestleMania to be a great show. I was thinking this heading into Survivor Series that, both TakeOver and Survivor Series look like strong cards, and they both were. Early this year with the Rumble and TakeOver, both were really strong cards, and they delivered. So I think WrestleMania has a strong card. TakeOver has a strong card. So I think they'll both be damn good shows. I think TakeOver will probably end up being better, but that's just how it is. WrestleMania will be long as hell, so we'll see if that helps or hurts it. Will it be, a great show or just too damn long? We'll see. And I'll be there live in the Mercedes-Benz Arena, the Superdome, to watch it all go down. So, yeah, next time you probably see me, I'll be talking about TakeOver and then WrestleMania. So, till then, check y'all later.